Hey everyone, welcome back to Everyday English Institute. I'm John.
And I'm Emily. Today we're talking about one of the most painful problems English learners face, your brain freezing right when you need English the most.
You know that moment. Someone asks you a simple question in English, and suddenly your thoughts run away and leave you on read.
You know the answer in your language, maybe you even know it in English later, but in that exact moment, nothing comes out.
If that happens to you, this episode is for you. Because today, we'll show you how to think faster and speak smarter in real conversations without needing perfect grammar or a huge vocabulary.
We're going to walk you through 9 practical techniques that John and I use with our own students. And your job is not to remember everything. Your job is to pick 2 or 3 techniques and actually practice them this week. Deal?
Deal. All right, let's start with why your brain freezes in the first place so you stop blaming your bad English for everything.
Yeah, most learners think, if my vocabulary were bigger, I wouldn't freeze. But that's not always true.
Exactly. I've seen advanced students with great grammar still freeze in simple conversations. The problem is usually not knowledge, it's pressure.
When you feel judged, nervous, or afraid of mistakes, your brain goes into survival mode. It's like, forget English, let's just not die from embarrassment.
Your heart beats faster, your mouth gets dry, and all the beautiful English sentences you practiced disappear.
So our mission today is simple. We want to give your brain a different system, a set of prepared paths it can follow even when you're nervous.
Think of it like this. Right now, you're trying to invent English on the spot. After today, you'll have ready-made patterns your brain can grab in 1 second.
Let's go to technique 1.
Technique 1. Stop trying to sound smart.
Ouch, that hurts a little.
I know, but listen. Most learners freeze because they're trying to say the perfect sentence. Long, complex, impressive.
Inside your head, you're thinking, should I use present perfect continuous here? Or maybe a conditional? And while you're thinking, the conversation moves on.
Exactly. So here's the rule. When you feel pressure, choose simple over perfect.
Short sentences, basic structures, subject, verb, object.
For example, instead of, I have been experiencing some difficulties adjusting to the new software, just say, I'm having trouble with the new software.
Same meaning, 10 times easier to produce.
Your brain doesn't need more complicated English, it needs lighter English when you're nervous.
So from now on, tell yourself, I don't need to sound smart, I just need to be clear.
Good. Let's build on that with Technique 2. Technique 2. Build your favorite sentences in advance.
Native speakers do this all the time. We don't invent every sentence from zero. We reuse the same patterns again and again.
Exactly. Think about how often you hear phrases like, to be honest. At the end of the day, the thing is.
We want you to create your own English toolbox of go-to sentences.
For example, useful starters for opinions. Personally, I think, from my point of view, in my experience.
Or for buying time. That's an interesting question. Let me think about that for a second. I'm not completely sure, but I'd say.
When you practice these in advance, your brain doesn't need to search for structure under pressure. It just pulls out a sentence from the toolbox and fills in the last part.
Let's give a quick mini practice. Emily, ask me a difficult question.
All right, John, what's the most challenging thing about learning a language as an adult? I could freeze, or I can use a pattern. That's a really good question. Personally, I think the hardest part is staying consistent.
See? He didn't panic. He used a ready-made sentence and then added his idea.
Your homework for this technique, write 5 opinion starters and 5 thinking time sentences you like. Practice saying them fast.
Let's move to technique 3, which connects perfectly to this.
Technique 3. Use polite time buffers instead of silence.
Silence feels scary in a conversation. So what happens? You rush, you panic, and you say something you don't mean.
Time buffers are short phrases that give your brain 2 or 3 seconds to think without making the moment awkward.
Here are some powerful ones. Give me a second to think. Let me see. That's a tough one.
Or in professional settings, let me organize my thoughts for a moment.
Imagine someone in a meeting asks you, What do you think about this idea? Instead of freezing, you say, let me think for a second. I like the concept, but I'm worried about the budget.
Those 3 extra seconds can be the difference between panic and confidence.
And people don't think you're weak when you do this. They think you're thoughtful.
Exactly. So stop punishing yourself for needing time. Just ask for it politely.
Next up, technique 4, which I really love.
Technique 4. Think in pictures, not in grammar.
Many learners try to build sentences like Lego, piece by piece. Subject, verb, tense, preposition. That's slow.
Native speakers don't usually think present perfect, third person. We see a picture in our mind and describe it.
Let's test this. Right now, picture your last vacation. Don't think of words, just see the image.
Maybe you're at a beach, or in the mountains, or visiting family.
Now, instead of translating from your language, just talk to the picture. For example, I was on a small beach. The water was really clear. My friends and I swam every day.
The picture gives you content. The grammar can be simple.
When you freeze, it often means your brain is staring at an empty screen. No image, just pressure.
So next time you're stuck, don't ask, which tense should I use? Ask, what do I see in my mind right now? Then describe that image using simple English.
That alone can unfreeze many moments.
All right, technique 5 is about reducing the size of the problem.
Technique 5. Speak in small chunks.
A lot of learners try to plan long, perfect answers, but long answers feel scary, so your brain says, no thanks.
Instead, speak in short chunks of 1 or 2 sentences. Pause, then add another chunk.
For example, if someone asks, tell me about your job, you don't need a huge speech. You can say, I work as a software engineer. I design mobile apps for a small company. Pause, breathe, then, most days I work from home. I really enjoy solving technical problems.
That's it. Simple chunks, very manageable.
Short chunks also make your accent easier to understand and give the listener time to process.
So, when you feel frozen, think just one sentence, not a TED Talk.
Love that. Let's go to technique 6, one of my favorites. Technique 6. Use active listening as your secret weapon.
Many learners put all the pressure on themselves to create something new, but you can use what the other person says as your raw material.
Exactly. Instead of thinking, what should I say? Think, what did they just say that I can use?
For example, if someone says, I moved to the city last year and I still don't know many people, you can answer, you moved here last year? Same for me. I'm also still meeting new people.
You didn't invent a big idea. You simply mirrored their words and added your experience.
Here's a simple pattern. Repeat plus react. You're studying medicine? That's amazing. I always thought it was a difficult subject.
Or, question and comment. You work nights. Wow. How do you manage your sleep?
When you listen carefully, half of your answer is already given to you.
So if you want to think faster, start by listening better.
Now, technique 7 is about your emotional state.
Technique 7. Reprogram your brain's story about mistakes.
Many learners have a story in their head. If I make a mistake, people will laugh or think I'm stupid.
That story creates fear. Fear creates freezing.
We need a new story. If I make a mistake, it means I'm brave enough to use English.
Think about it. The only people who never make mistakes are the people who never speak.
And nobody respects the silent genius at the back of the room. People connect with the person who tries, who laughs at themselves, who keeps going.
I always tell my students, your accent and your mistakes are proof that you're bilingual in progress.
So next time you notice a mistake coming out of your mouth, don't shut down. Just correct it calmly if you want and continue.
For example, yesterday I went to the gym. And keep talking. No drama.
The less emotional weight you put on mistakes, the faster your brain recovers.
Okay, technique 8 is where we get a little playful.
Technique 8. Train with mini improv games.
Improv means speaking without preparation. It sounds scary, but it's actually a fun way to train your brain to respond faster.
Here's an easy game you can play alone. It's called 3 words.
Choose 3 random words like coffee, bus, and rain. Give yourself 30 seconds to tell a little story using all 3.
For example, this morning it was raining. I missed my bus, so I waited in a small cafe and drank a coffee instead. It was actually a nice start to the day.
Don't worry about perfection. The goal is speed and flow, not grammar.
Another game is what happens next? Describe a picture, then invent what happens next in 1 or 2 sentences.
You can do this while scrolling Instagram. See a photo, pause, and invent, after this photo, they went to a small restaurant and tried local food.
10 minutes of this kind of play every day will make real conversations feel easier and lighter.
Which brings us to technique 9, the one that turns all of